Colleen Patrick-Goudreau here. Just a quick video to show you what to do with some veggie scraps. We've been talking a lot about food waste in the Food for Thought podcast, and I really encourage you to go listen to parts 1 and parts 2. Part 2 talks all about the ways we can use what we have in our kitchens, whatever food we bring into our house, instead of throwing it out. We eliminated our garbage can liners. We don't have any wet food that goes into our garbage anymore, and this is one of the reasons why. Whenever you make a salad, you've got everything you need to make a vegetable stock. So yesterday, made a great salad: cauliflower, kale, onions, some garlic, some fennel, of course, carrots, and almost anything can go into a vegetable stock. So I threw it in the pressure cooker. Here's what I made with it. I hope it inspires you to do the same. So remember, in the Food Waste Part 2 episode, the Food for Thought podcast episode, which I encourage you all to listen to, I talked about reducing food waste, not just composting it. So this is how I can use the food scraps, the veggie scraps, for a vegetable stock, and then compost is the final frontier. So you saw what I had there in the bowl from lunch, and I'll come back to it. But I threw everything in the pressure cooker with about 8 cups of water and put it on for about 20 minutes, and this is the result. All of the vegetables cooked down completely and all of the flavor out of the vegetables and into our vegetable stock. I also added some bay leaves. I added some whole peppercorns. I added some oregano. I mean, you can add whatever dried herbs you want. You can do anything you want to make the stock you want. You can also add salt. It's one of the reasons people like making their own stock. It's not the main reason I do. I do it so I don't waste the food. But of course, the advantage means that you can also add as much salt as you want. Look at that gorgeous vegetable broth you're left with. I had about at least 8 cups. At least 8 cups of that gorgeous broth. So there you have it. There's the vegetables that are left over. Now, I did compost those vegetables. Even though they're cooked, you can absolutely put them in the compost. So here's what I made with my broth. Of course, look at that gorgeous broth. We can come back to other things you can do with it. I happened to make my seitan. I love making seitan from scratch, being zero waste, meaning I'm not buying packaging, I'm not buying plastic, especially single-use plastic, not buying anything that I can't then convert into something more valuable or use the value of. So even my favorite vegan products that are packaged in plastic, I'm not buying them. So it's just so much easier, so much less expensive, so much more ecologically friendly, and that means animal friendly, to make it from scratch. So my homemade seitan is in my 30-day vegan challenge book. You can find that wherever books are sold. I think there might be a recipe on my website. At least there's a recipe on joyfulvegan.com for my homemade sausage, which is also seitan based. Now, seitan is just wheat gluten. That's all it is. It's this gorgeous meat. Basically, it's a grain meat that you make from wheat gluten. It's the protein that's in wheat, and it's just concentrated. It's been around for thousands of years, was invented by Buddhist monks who, of course, wanted flavor and texture but did not want the cruelty. So it's so easy to do, and you just basically cook these beautiful seitan balls. I also added some herbs to them and spices in vegetable broth. You can use store-bought, but I am not. I am using my vegetable stock that I made with my previous lunch scraps. You can see how much they puff up. I wanted you to see that. It's a little steamy, and then I wipe so then you can see it a lot better. So aren't they gorgeous? And then at this point, you can just, once they come out of the broth, they start to get a lot chewier. You can chop them up, you can bake them, you can saute them, you can make a little chicken Waldorf salad, which I make with like apples and mayonnaise. There are so many things you can do with the seitan. It's just basically a wonderful chewy meat. It's a grain meat. So that hopefully will inspire you to take your vegetable scraps from whatever you're making, whether it's a salad or a soup, whatever. A lot of people talk about how they don't like to use cruciferous vegetable scraps like kale and cauliflower and broccoli because it makes its stock too bitter. Whatever. Just put everything in and you'll start to figure out what's too much of what, and then you'll just compost the rest. So I hope that's inspiring to you. Make sure you follow me over at joyfulvegan.com. You can subscribe to the blog. You can, of course, subscribe to the mailing list. You can follow me on social media. Hope you're listening to the Food for Thought podcast. And of course, you can get my books wherever books are sold. Basically, let's connect.